Healing begins when you stop pretending you are okay just to make other people comfortable. Today's guest spent years carrying that quiet exhaustion most of us know too well. The smile in public, the breakdown in private, and then one day she decided to write it all down. Stay with me. Before we begin today's episode, a gentle heads up for our listeners. This conversation touches on themes that may be heavy for some of you, including sexual assault, bullying, depression, anxiety, and mental health struggles. We talk about these subjects with care and honesty, but we understand they can stir up difficult emotions. If you are in a sensitive space today, please listen when you feel ready. It is completely okay to pause this episode, come back later, or skip it altogether. Your well being comes before any conversation. Hello and welcome to Live Talks with Anurag Paul. This is the show where we sit with people who have lived something real and have something honest to say about it. No pretending, no performing, just life the way it actually feels. I'm your host, Anurag Paul. I'm so glad you are here today. Whether you are driving, walking, working, or lying in bed at 2 a.m., wondering if anyone else feels the way you feel, this episode is going to find you exactly where you are. Today, let me introduce you to someone who is much more than just the pages she writes. Ghanishta Khosla is a writer, a storyteller, and someone trying to build a life that feels meaningful and impactful. Beyond her books, she is a girl building her own empire through creativity, honesty, and passion. She is obsessed with her dog Coco. She loves traveling. She finds peace in the gym. She believes life is too short to do work that doesn't move your soul. Through her memoir, It's Okay Not to Be Okay, she hopes to make people feel a little less alone, and that honestly is one of the most generous things a writer can offer the world. Ghanishta, welcome to Live Talks with Anurag Paul. It's so good to have you with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Anurag. Honestly, beyond the cover of this book, I'm just someone trying to create a life that feels real and meaningful. I've always felt that life is too short to spend all of it doing things that don't move your soul. I don't want to just exist inside presentations, deadlines, or routine that make me feel disconnected from myself. I want the work I do to feel like purpose, like something I was born to do. And for me, that has always been writing. Writing became the one place where I could finally be honest. In my everyday life, I think I'm someone who feels things very deeply. I overthink, I reflect a lot, and I do romanticize little moments. And I think for a long period of time, I was just surviving life. But now I'm trying to truly live it. And this book was a huge part of that journey.
Ghanishta, was there resistance from anyone close to you when you decided you were writing about this journey in form of a book?
Oh yes, like a lot of it. So my mom was all like, "Why are you writing about yourself? Why do you need to put your name on it? Why are you telling everyone what happened with you?" So like there was that from her side. So I told her like we could stop caring so much about what other people think and think about what if my book actually helps people. So there was some resistance, but in the end, I did convince her that even if my story helps one single person, then all of it, it's worth it.
Did you ever consider writing it under a pseudonym?
No, no. That thought didn't even cross my mind because I felt if my name is attached to it, it will be a lot more relatable for readers. They could put a face to the story and they'll feel even more confident and be encouraged to talk about their issues.
What did your family members think when they read your book?
Okay, so now this might be a little surprising, but none of my family members have actually read my book except a few distant relatives. So my parents have still not read my book, and I know sometimes it bothers me that my book has become a bestseller at all the airports, and you still chose not to read it. But I think the fear they have of finding out about a few things. I think that's valid. I think they might get a little uncomfortable, but that's understandable. So I get it. So that's why I don't pressure them into reading the book. So that's
Okay, you said that your distant relatives have read your book. So, what was the reaction of your distant relatives when they read your book? Any particular instance that you want to share with our listeners?
as their relatives, I'm sure they had a lot to say, but not to my face. So yeah, I mean, like they would appreciate the book and they would not talk about the experiences I've written. I think it might be a little uncomfortable for them to talk about those experiences right to me as they are a part of my family and those experiences, are very raw, honest and real. But they did come up to me with appreciation.
Initially, in your book, you have written that in the initial phase of your journey, you stayed silent. You just decided that you will stay silent. So, was there a particular fear behind staying silent in the beginning? Judgment, family, being labeled? What was that?
So, like, very honestly, I did not care about being labeled. I cared about being not understood or being misunderstood. I used to feel like, what if I say everything I have to say and still no one gets me? So that's why when I decided to let it all out, I wrote this. I wrote everything into the book. That's why I never really shared everything with everyone or anyone, to be very honest.
When you did finally speak about it, who did you tell it first?
So the first person with whom I talked about everything was my therapist. Like I did do a few sessions, but like not for a very long period of time. But yeah, like my therapist was the one with whom I shared everything. So and it was really helpful for me because as I told you before, I had this fear of being misunderstood. So that's why I did not go to any of my friends. And I thought like talking to a therapist might help, and it did.
So you have said that you went to a therapist, and how was that experience? If you talk about the Indian cultural context, when anyone hears that this particular person goes for therapy, how was that experience for you?
So I have been taking therapy like on and off, not regularly, since I was in 10th class. And I used to face a little bit of resistance from my family that why are you going to therapy? Like, what's the need for it? And I do think that there is a certain taboo around therapy. Like, people are still not accepting it. But I really wish that, people would realize mental health is as and sometimes even more important than taking care of your physical health. Sometimes your physical health, can be perfect, but if your mental health is not as good, then what's the point of life if you're just not happy?
The title of your book is something I want to sit with for a moment. It's okay not to be okay. It's a sentence so many people need to hear but really say out loud. What made you choose those exact words?
Being very honest, I think we live in a world where everyone is pretending to be happy. Everyone is trying so hard to look okay, even when they're falling apart privately. And I know that feeling because I lived it for years, to be very honest. There were days when I used to feel mentally exhausted as well. And I would still be smiling in front of people because I felt like I had to. And somewhere along the way, we made sadness feel shameful. So when I was choosing the title, I didn't want something too complicated or too poetic. I just wanted something very honest, something simple enough to comfort someone at 2 a.m. when they're feeling completely alone or very upset. So something like that.
Those people who have read your book, they are contacting you through DMs, messages, and all. You want to give one message to them?
So, whenever you guys text me, DM me, and thank me for writing this book, all I want to do is thank you guys back for reading it and especially taking the time out and write those lovely messages to me. Each and every message means the world to me. No matter how long or short it is, even if someone writes, "Hi, thank you for writing the book," it means the world to me. Like your appreciation, I'm so grateful for it. And I would like to thank you guys for helping me make this book a bestseller and it's reaching everyone it needs to. And I hope it continues to do so.
Ghanishta, before I let you go, I have one last thing I want to leave our listeners with a thought from you. So complete this sentence for our listeners. Healing begins when.
Healing begins when you stop pretending you're okay just to make other people feel comfortable and finally start choosing yourself honestly, gently, and without an apology.
That's the line, that's the episode, that's the reminder. Ghanishta, thank you so much for joining me today, for trusting this space with your story, for being so honest about the things most people spend a lifetime hiding. Your book is going to find the exact hands it was meant to reach. To our listeners, Ghanishta's memoir, It's Okay Not to Be Okay, is out now. Please go pick up a copy, read it, gift it to someone who needs it, and follow Ghanishta on her socials to stay connected to her journey. If this episode moved you in any way, please do me one small favor. Share it with one person, just one. The friend who has been quieter than usual, the cousin who has been fine for too long, the colleague who always smiles a little too hard. You never know whose 2 a.m. this episode might rescue. And remember, on the days you don't feel okay, it's okay. You are allowed to be human here. This space will always be soft with you. I am Anurag Paul, and this has been Life Talks with Anurag Paul. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.